In terms of retail learning, there's obviously, I mean, the start of really 2021 until now has been a crazy time for retail. Like, I mean, retail trading has just exploded, and we're even seeing that in little sub products such as zero DTE trading. But overall, do you have any, I guess, core thoughts of the direction of where it's heading? Do you like it, dislike it? Do you think there's a better way that retail should be learning? Do you think there's negative things that aren't being learned that you think like shouldn't be learned at all? Where are you at with that, especially looking at it from the point of a person running two funds?
I think generally, and this is from my point of view, because it's not like I'm out there doing research or looking up educational stuff, but like I think that education in the retail landscape is like very lacking or there's holes. Um, and I think I know why. I was actually when we were getting ready for this show, we talked about this like a week ago. We are planning for it. I was thinking about how to explain this. So this is kind of my mental model, and this is why return on time for me is such a big thing. So if you think about kind of four quadrants, okay? So there's two variables. One variable is the time you spend, and this is like trading, and the other variable is your return. So if we intersect these two, on one end is low time spent and low return. And this is where I put kind of the passive investing, right? It seems like a lot of people traditionally just get funneled into this. And there's reasons for it because people usually fail. If you try to do things, you usually mess it up. And it's easy to just keep on buying a hold, right? Low return relative to what you can do, right? And low effort, right? So that's one end of the spectrum. Now, the other end where people want to be is high time spent and high return. And this is kind of the aspirational, like you want to quit your day job. You dream of being like a day trader and like putting all this effort and being able to live your life, go trade on a beach and and the culture online of these kind of meme stocks and the people with the Lambos and the thumbnails of those YouTube videos and the
Mhm.
gurus and the furus. That's kind of where they're aiming to put that. Now, I honestly think most people think they want to be in that quadrant, but reality is it's not easy. First of all, statistically, not hardly anyone's going to be there. But the other thing is you really do need to put in the time, right? It's like almost harder than a full-time job in some instances, okay? So those are kind of the two opposites. Now there is the other quadrant. Now this is the bad ones. It's the high time spent, low return,
Yeah.
right? You don't want to be there. And I think a lot of people who aim for the high time, high return end up in the high time, low return, right? So that's the pitfall. Now the final quadrant, I think this is where my angle of attack is the low time, high return. Now, low time, high return might seem kind of like too good to be true, but remember that ratio is uh instead of focus on return, focus on the return relative to the time. If your time spent is really little, honestly, any meaningful return, that's a good reward, right? So like you don't have to um for me, I think there is meaningful ways to once you get educated, especially now with options, with all these kind of alternative products and ETFs that are now in the retail landscape that are available, uh, you can meaningfully kind of put together a portfolio that is kind of not too correlated to the general market, uh, has a pretty good return. And the reason why I focus on this quadrant, right, the kind of the low return, sorry, low effort, but moderate return is because people don't want to spend time on something that they don't think they're going to succeed, right? So
Mm.
if they spend time, they want to aim for that high effort, high return, but often they fail, right? Now, if they want to spend the time and there's no reasonable chance that they don't believe that they're going to get something out of it, they're not going to put in the time, right? That's just the nature. And that's why you get so many people who like aim super high and then fail. Because
Mm.
if they want to put in the time, they want to get something out of it. Or at the same time, they don't want to do something where it's so hard or takes so much time they got to quit their job, right? It's a large commitment for a lot of people. So if I can provide some education, well, I mean, I'm doing that, but if the landscape can shift and people can recognize that they can learn kind of tools and approaches where you can meaningfully augment or supplement your current, you know, funds, your nest egg, whatever it is, without having to quit the day job. That's the thing. You can do your job, do whatever, and still make a difference in your investments. And kind of that's what I've been trying to kind of put forth as my message. But yeah, I mean that's kind of my big thoughts on that.